Hello friends, welcome to another reel from Bharat Raghu. Today we are sitting in the beautiful Samika resort and this is in Cherrapunji. So we are right in the heart of Cherrapunji, like in the outskirts of Cherrapunji, and these are the hills behind us. The sun has come out in the morning. So these are the hills behind us. There is some rivers, there are trees. It's a beautiful landscape. Of course, this is winter, so the water has dried up. So you don't have those waterfalls, the beautiful waterfalls, the Seven Sister waterfalls, all those have dried up because this is the winter season. But nevertheless, Cherrapunji is as pristine as expected. And I would be talking from Cherrapunji. It's a beautiful state. Meghalaya is a beautiful composite culture state. I have seen Christmas being celebrated beautifully over here. It's Christmas time in a couple of days and it's going to be celebrations. It's a majority Christian state, and that begs the point of today's topic, which is composite nationalism versus religious nationalism. So this is fundamental to the idea of nationhood, of any nationhood. Composite nationalism versus religious nationalism, and this was the center of the debate even in India right at the time of freedom, right at 1947. This was the heart of the discussion, whether India was going to be a secular state, whether India is going to be a nation. So the entire Indian National Congress, the movement spearheaded by Mahatma Gandhi, Nehru, Patel, Bose, Azad, the stalwarts of the Indian freedom movement and the Indian National Congress stood for composite nationalism. And there's a very famous dialogue in one of the recent series which came in, Freedom at Midnight. Excellent series if you want to understand how the turn of events took place between 1946 to 1947, the freedom time. And where there's a dialogue attributed to Jawaharlal Nehru where he says nationalism based on religion is primitive, and that's what he says. And the counter to that is what Jinnah says, where Hindus and Muslims are two nations, and that begs the point of what is nationalism. Let's take some examples of composite nationalism in the world. India, of course, is a nation with a majority Hindu population, roughly around 80%. But then there is a very big Muslim minority population, which is close to more than 15 to 18%. We will know by the latest, of course, the census. And then you have a rich Christian population, like in Meghalaya. It's a Christian state. You have Buddhists. You have Buddhists in many pockets. You have the Ambedkarite Muslim Buddhists who are the Dalit. They are very much towards Buddhism. And then there is Sikhism, of course, in Punjab, which is the Sikhs. The birthplace of Sikhism is Punjab. You have Jains. You have other sects. You have a certain number of Jews as well who were living in Kerala, say, or in the northeast. Very few of them. You have, of course, we have Parsis, Zoroastrianism, who had fled from Iran and come to India, and there is a decent population of Parsis in India. So this is India's composite nature. So how do you then go and build a Hindu Rashtra over here? It's not possible. It's not practical. It's not feasible. It is actually criminal, if you ask me, because you cannot build a nation based on the majority religion. And that was the main fundamental belief of Subhash Bose, which reflected in his INA, which reflected in the nature of Indian National Army, the Azad Hind Fauj, which reflected in the Indian National Congress leadership, right? So this was the debate. On the other hand was Jinnah, who said that the Hindus and Muslims are two separate nations. Their cultures are different, their eating habits are different, they don't mingle, they don't marry. I mean, he was trying to divide the communities and, create a nation based on religion, which went on to become Pakistan, which is, as again attributed to the Freedom at Midnight, it's a mad idea. As Nehru puts it, it's a mad idea. So this is very, very fundamental. Let's look at some of the other neighborhoods and look at the successes of composite nationalism compared to religious nationalism. If you look at even Bangladesh, recently what's happening. So Bangladesh was formed, which again is just right down the Kashi Hills. That down, when you go down the Kashi Hills, then Bangladesh comes. So look at the Awami League when it came to power, Mujibur Rahman and his daughter Sheikh Hasina. However flawed it may be, I'm not going into the merits of the governance over there. I'm not going into whether the governance was good, bad, what were the policy decisions. We're purely restricting ourselves to composite nationalism based on secularism. And that was what Mujibur Rahman had dreamt, a Bangladesh which was not an Islamic state. It was not an Islamic state like Pakistan was. So it was built on secular nationalism, right? And that's how was the successes of Bangladesh. Even under Sheikh Hasina, again, even if there was autocracy, even if there is autocratic rule, but the GDP percentage of Bangladesh was growing very fast. It was on the rise. Bangladesh was on the rise, and there was relative peace. There was relative calm. There is not persecution of minorities, the Hindus and the Christians. Now look what has happened once Sheikh Hasina has fled. Look at the situation of the minorities. So that's why I would say the protection, the layer, the Teflon layer which protects the minorities in any country, any kind of a minority, it could be a religious minority, a linguistic minority, a racial minority. The guarantee is the Teflon cover which protects them is secularism, is composite nationalism. And I hope you understand. Look at the successes. Again, not going into the economic policies, but look at huge countries. Look at Russia. Look at China. Look at America. Look at the West. Many of the Western democracies, because they're based on composite nationalism. You can easily have the European countries say that we are Christian states. Right? You can say now the white American phenomenon which is going in US, where they want the evangelical Christians. So again, that's again a tendency towards religious nationalism, which may be dangerous in the future. So tendencies like this, where you want your dominant religion, your dominant race to dominate over the others, which was what actually led to the World War II, which was one man's thinking of Adolf Hitler, who thought that nationalism based on race, nationalism which also had this Christian, which also had the religious aspect, nationalism based on race and religion, and what damage it caused to the Jews of Europe, what the hatred towards the other religion, what damage it caused to the entire, to entire Europe. It pushed them back by decades, or if not a century. So this is what is the topic, friends. And look at the beauty of Meghalaya. It's a composite, it's a state in India with a Christian majority, with people celebrating Christmas with such joyous flavor. So this is what is India. India is not, you will have Diwali celebrated here, you have Eid in Hyderabad, you go, the Eid is celebrated with the same joyous as Diwali in Hyderabad. So there is beauty, and this is Bharat Raghu, again showing you the beautiful hills of Cherrapunji. Of course, very less waterfall, very less river bodies as you can see, but hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching. Bharat Raghu signing off.